YouTube, what's up, everyone? Look, it is happening again. The ETF wave that just sent Bitcoin and Solana vertical, it is now confirmed for XRP. And this time, the numbers are even crazier. You're about to see exactly why the next few weeks could change everything for XRP forever. We're starting right here. Here's Solana. Let me show you what's going on. 9 days of straight up ETF inflows. 9 straight days, no hesitation. This is just raw accumulation. We're talking Bitwise and Grayscale because they didn't blink. They just kept buying. Solana's ETF inflows have now smashed $336 million in under 2 weeks. Let that sink in. That's not retail chasing green candles. That's institutions loading the boat before the storm. You can see it in the data. Day after day, capital just keeps flooding in. This isn't hype. This is conviction. The kind of steady, quiet bid that built Bitcoin's ETFs during its first rally. Remember, Bitcoin made a brand new all-time high for the first time ever before halving because of its ETF inflows. The Solana bid, it's alive, and it's rewriting the institutional investment means, because when the money gets this consistent, it's not speculation anymore. It's strategy. Now, what if I told you we're about to apply this same math, this same institutional pattern to XRP? Stay with me because this next part, it's going to blow your mind because that's exactly what we are about to do. But folks, make sure you join the newsletter. It is completely free. The link is down below. Get all the latest and greatest information straight to your inbox every single week. And if you haven't booked that call yet, book your strategy call with me. We'll walk through anything and everything. You want to talk about setting up a LLC in Wyoming, Florida, wherever you may be in the United States, or it doesn't matter. We'll talk about the strategy international as well. That's what these calls are for. The best investment is an investment in yourself. Now, I went over to ChatGPT, my good old friend, and I was like, look, we know what Solana is doing as far as your ETF inflow. I want you to take what Solana has done in its first 2 weeks and apply it to XRP. And that's what we got here. You're about to be blown away. So if we take the current price and we're going to say it's around $2.30 for XRP, we look at the circulating supply, which is around 59.6 billion. We look at the estimated market cap, which is around 138.9 billion. What we're going to do is we're going to take this model, we're going to take the ETF inflows, we're going to create an upward price pressure by increasing demand against our available supply. So where does that get us to? Right here, we're going to step 2. So we use the example on Solana, where ETF inflows roughly translate into a large percentage price move relative to the asset's market cap. We use the multiplier effect. I'm going to estimate a rough liquidity impact multiplier, about a 48x, right? It's about a 1% of market cap in inflows to a 48% price move. That's the speculation we're going to use here for this model. Step 3, what do? We define the inflow scenario. All right. So we're going to define several phases of inflows in the corresponding percentage of the market cap flow. So you're going to get your seed phase, right? That is going to be the initial capital that will be injected into the ETF product at large. We're going to look at the early 10 days. So the first 10 days of the post-launch flow. Then we're going to talk about the institutional ramp phase. Larger inflows over 2 to 3 months as major institutions really start to allocate. And then we're going to talk about if staking products or derivative ETFs flow in. So here we go. Here are the numbers. You're going to like what you see here. I'm telling you, we're going to apply the multiplier effect to each scenario to figure out the price impact. It's that simple. How do we do it? We're going to estimate the inflow amount computed as a percent of the market cap. We're going to then multiply that percent by the liquidity impact, looking at about 48, and we're going to estimate the price increase. Remember, this is all based upon a $2.30 XRP. Here's your phases here, right? First up, you get your seed phase. We're going to estimate here your inflow is going to be 1.2 to 1.5 billion. The percent of market cap we're looking at is 0.8 to about 1%. So your estimated price increase goes from 0.8 to your 1% times your 48, which brings you to your 38 to 48% price increase. So projected price, anywhere from 317 to 340. That is the initial. Now let's look at the first 10 days, your early flows. We look at an additional 1.5 to 2 billion. Your percent of the market cap here is anywhere from 1 to 1.3%. Your price increase is 48 to 62%. So you're looking at about 341 to 372. 2 to 3 months down the line. And remember, this is all based upon the amount of ETFs that Solana currently has active. XRP has a lot more ETFs that are going to pop up. So these numbers, obviously, they're going to go a lot higher. But this is just based on what Solana got kicking around right now. So looking at your institutional ramp. So give it about 2 to 3 months. So December, January, February is what we're going to be looking at. We are looking at about 10 billion inflows on this thing, which is going to increase your percent of market cap around a 6.7%. Your price increase is going to be up to 322%, giving you around a $9.70 XRP in Q1 of next year. But let's take this out into an even further time frame. Let's look at, if we get like a staking phase that kicks in, 3 to 6 month time frame, pretty fair, right? 15 to 20 billion, 10 to 13% on the market cap increase. The price of XRP, we're looking at a 480 to 624% multiplier. Where does that put XRP? $13.40 all the way up to $16.70. You can see the beautiful table down here, all lined up, breaking this down. Your initial seed, 317 to 340, not too exciting. Your first 10 days, 341 to 372, which actually sits on the XRP chart right in that make or break line, because we know once 372 gets broken, it's going to be go time, brand new all-time high. Price discovery kicks in. We start looking at 2 to 3 months down the line. So we'll say December, you can call it. We can even say January to February, because the ETFs are going live at the end of November. We're looking at almost a $10 XRP. And then 3 to 6 months, if we start to get derivatives and stakings and even more ETFs coming to life, say we have 15 to 20 at this point, $13.40 XRP all the way to a $16.70 XRP. Sounds beautiful, doesn't it? Someone put this out and get used to it. This is what we're going to see down the line. Just imagine a couple of years from now, 5 years, 10 years, Bitcoin's almost $1 million, XRP's up above $20, $30. Obviously, that's a very low target, but this is what the markets are going to look like. I'm excited about this. You should be excited about this as well. Look, Solana is the high-speed highway. Bitcoin, that's your reserve layer, but XRP, that's going to be the liquidity bridge connecting every asset, every chain, every nation's digital currency. And when you track it back to this exact moment, when you heard this video first, this is where it all began. The ETF era wasn't just about speculation. It was the on-ramp for institutional liquidity to flood into the rails of your new financial system. 10 years from now, people are going to look back at 2025 the way we looked at Bitcoin in 2013, the moment before it all began. And let's not forget Van Eck, one of the most conservative players in the game. They threw their hat in the ring. They have an XRP ETF coming to life. Now, if this thing was just filed, give it the 20-day countdown, you're looking right after Thanksgiving for Van Eck's ETF to come to life. Remember, we have 5 known XRP ETFs going live this month because they changed up their filing, and there's a 20-day countdown, and then they automatically go live. And we also know there's about 20 more in the pipeline. The SEC floodgates, they're open, and every asset with real utility, it's racing to the list. And I've said this before, if the asset that you are looking at, that you have your money in, doesn't have an ETF in the pipelines, you should probably look elsewhere, because you want ETFs, you want institutional inflows, and you want the institutions to be your cheerleader to start pumping your bag. And this is where it gets crazy. This is Brad Garlinghouse. We're talking about the XRP liquidity wave. It's about to get wild. Once those XRP ETFs launch, massive institutional liquidity is going to slam straight into XRP. We're talking to accredited investors, family offices, funds already lined up with billions beyond billions of dollars ready to deploy. This isn't just about price anymore. This is about infrastructure. The bridge to digital assets isn't being built. It is already opened for business. Let's listen to Brad here.
I think anytime you are seeing the kind of trust and institutional dynamic of an ETF, making it easier to access and bringing capital into the XRP ecosystem, that's good. It's not lost upon me. ETH as a token was kind of lagging the market in terms of the overall market activity in the spring. But then the ETH ETFs went live and ETH went on a tear. I don't think that's a big surprise. You saw people easier access coming in. I think the first ETH ETF, grew to $1 billion, very, very quickly. I can't remember the exact timeline, but I think you're going to see that happen in the XRP ecosystem because there's a lot of demand from people who don't have the skill set or interest in launching a Coinbase account or what have you, and they want to have exposure to this asset class. So I think it's...
Now listen to what Brad just said there. He said, look at ETH, $1 billion rushed. We just based all those numbers upon 336 million coming into Solana. We're talking $1 billion for ETH. Solana, 336. There's a 3x multiplier to add on top of that as well. These numbers are going to get absolutely insane for XRP. And we know all the institutions are on the sideline waiting. We know about Citadel, that they are there. They're waiting to get, well, they're actually in. They partnered with Ripple. They bought a piece of the company. Why would Citadel, who runs 40% of your stock market volume, why would they want to get involved into Ripple, the company? They understand where this is going and what is going on here, folks. Think about it. Solana, 335 million. ETH did 1 billion. What do you think XRP is going to do? Because it's definitely going to outperform it. Don't forget about this. Forever North, aka Evernorth, going up on the NASDAQ billboard in Times Square. This ecosystem is leveling up. Remember, Evernorth is building institutional yield strategies and active digital asset treasuries right on top of the XRP ledger. That's yield, liquidity, and participation. Exactly what institutions crave. The more Evernorth and its teams build, the tighter the XRP economy becomes. This isn't speculation anymore. It is monetization. Every new player adds another level of demand. And yeah, this is the proud moment for Evernorth, because this time it's not just about hype. It is about fundamentals finally meeting mainstream adoption, which brings us to this, the Bitcoin domino effect. Just when you thought this cycle couldn't get crazier, Eric Trump steps in and he's like, look, I'm all in on Bitcoin. The biggest families want in, the biggest private wealth funds want it. Fortune 500 companies are treasuring it. That's what Eric Trump said. Listen.
You think it's going to hit 1 million, I saw, right?
I do. Yeah, listen, it's going to be a number of years before it does, but no, I absolutely do. First of all, the biggest families want it. The biggest private wealth funds want it. Fortune 500 companies are treasuring it every single day. People are hoarding Bitcoin. I mean, there are major nations out there that take all their extra energy and use that to mine Bitcoin, right? And so it's becoming truly like a world-class asset. Right now, all of a sudden, you can also buy in your equity markets. You can buy it as part of ETFs. You can buy it as part of your 401ks, your Roth IRAs. And so it's incredibly valuable. But people are saying that to me. I was telling people buy BTC at 50,000 bucks. Eric, it's too expensive. It's at 50,000. I'm going to wait till it comes down, right? Then hits 80,000. Buy Bitcoin. No, it's 80,000. It's way too expensive. Then all of a sudden it hits 100,000. Buy Bitcoin. No, it's too expensive, right? And then it hits 125,000. It's like, I don't know how many more times I can say it to you. Like, I think it's going to continue to rip. I think it's going to do really well. And I am all in.
Look, that's the domino effect. Bitcoin opens the door and everything else, Solana, XRP, ETH, they gets pulled in by gravity. If billionaires are already stacking crypto, the ETFs are tools that they use to go all in. And XRP's ETF, it isn't just about joining the game. It is coming on as a bridge asset. If Eric Trump is all in, his family just purchased even more Bitcoin. Trump's, right? They obviously don't think that this market is going away anytime soon. Then over on XRPrightnow.com, if you don't go there to get all your XRP news and info, I don't know what you're doing. It's updated every single day, 10 to 20 new posts, always on top of it like that. This ties back into how we started this video. And the article's titled, what if XRP takes 5% of the supply? Let's play out the scenario, right? If ETFs scoop up 5% of the XRP's total supply, that's roughly about 5 billion XRP locked away, gone from circulating markets. At today's pace of institutional inflows, that's nothing. It could happen within months. And when supply shrinks, utility explodes. Price doesn't just rise, right? It re-rates. This is the exact setup that we have been waiting for here. Real world utility, institutional access, scarcity building. The XRP ETF isn't just another ticker symbol. It is the spark that ignites the next liquidity super cycle. Look, this is the XRP effect. It is that simple. Patience pays. Remember that saying. The same ETF wave that just sent Solana flying, it is now rolling straight into Ripple's backyard, aka XRP's backyard. 9 days of Solana inflows, that was your signal. The XRP ETF, that's your confirmation. The institutions aren't just coming, folks. They're here. And when the liquidity wave hits, only those already holding, they're going to feel the full effect here, because in every bull run, there's one asset that goes from underdog to the invertible. And this time, guess what? It looks a lot like XRP. Make sure you hit that thumbs up button, subscribe to the channel if you're not already, and I'll see all y'all on the next one.